Where's he going? Zeus, what are you doing? Beautiful morning. Zeus is patrolling. I thought I would do a really fast little instructional tutorial thing this fine morning. Horses need water, or at least a good top up. Whew. Look at this. That's cool. It's gonna be warm today. On water for horses, and the system that is commonly used for outdoor sort of long distance stuff like this, where you've got faucets all over the place, and you got to get water to your horses. Now, there's a few different methods obviously out there that people do. You can have a hose go all the way from the house, which we did in the beginning before we got things together. You know, you got your 5/8 or 1/2 inch. If you're really lucky, you might have a 3/4 inch hose going all the way around, but that's a pain in the butt. And if you've got to go 300-400 feet or something like that, it's not really enough. Hey buddy, how's it going? Anyhow, so what we have here is called a no frost faucet, or there's other names for it. Can't remember them now. So really a water bib or something along those lines. Anyways, whatever. The point is that it essentially allows you to have water in all kinds of places without worrying about it freezing. So, how does it work, you ask? Good question. Well, today we're going to demonstrate that. And first I'll show you that it actually works. As you can see, we have water, even though it's freezing cold out here. Currently somewhere around -1 or something Celsius. It's not bad, but we've had colder days. So we're going to hook up the hose and start by giving the horses some water, and I'll have a talk about how this thing works. So, like any other faucet, it takes the hose, and because it's so cold, you don't want to leave these things hooked up. We'll talk about why. So we'll wait till the water comes out. There it goes. And into the tub. Okay, so you may be thinking, well, how does this thing work? You know, what's going on? Why is it shaped like that? So, it works like this. You've got, you know, right now it's a little leaky. So the other thing about these things is that once in a while they'll sort of fail, but mostly they're pretty good. But essentially you've got the handle here, which doesn't control anything right here other than this part here. Water comes up this pipe here, out the hose, so on and so forth, which everybody understands. What happens is this handle here controls a long rod that goes all the way down into the ground. And then from there, I'll put you guys back down over here. That rod in the ground, about a little less lens flare. That rod in the ground goes down this pipe 4 feet down. So this is a 4-footer. They make shorter ones, and I'm pretty sure they make longer ones. But this whole pipe itself is really, it's a 6-foot long pipe. 4 feet go on the ground, 2 feet are above. And so way down at the bottom is where you connect the water, where that rod goes all the way down. So the trick here, the trick of why this works, is actually interestingly simple. So this pipe goes all the way down to the ground, meets down at the bottom where it connects up to the water source. But, and here's the key. So I'm just watching the water at the same time. We don't want to let it overflow because then it just makes a mess and freezes everywhere. So this water comes out at a pretty good pace. We're getting there, about halfway done. If that, maybe almost 3/4. So when that rod goes down, see here. So I'm gonna be a little bit precise on this in case I ever have to tell anybody. So you actually have an adjustment screw right here as well. I suppose also so that you can replace this bit here, because I'm pretty sure this is a decent fail point. I've never had to fix one of these, but I have seen broken ones, and when they break, it's just such a pain because you literally have to dig up where you put it. So there was a 4-foot hole in the ground here. This gets placed in, you put a whole bunch of drainage rock around it. And the reason you need all that drainage rock, hang on, we gotta probably move tubs. So let's switch tubs and I'll continue this explanation. Okay, so we're down to the next one, which is another, can't remember how far this was. This was probably, I'd say a good 80 feet away from the one we were just at, which is up at the top. If you're new to the channel, I don't know, go check out any of the other videos where I wander around here. But okay, so we've got this other one here. This one's sticking out of the ground a little bit further. It was actually a little bit harder to get it all the way down, but I do know that there's at least 3 feet in the ground, so that's an important point to make. All right, filling up the next tub. So the continuing on with the explanation of how this works, essentially you have that rod that goes all the way down into the pipe down to the very bottom, and so where it connects up and just above where that pipe reaches, there's like a little plunger thing that closes up the pipe or opens it up, or a valve sort of deal. And so when you lift up the handle like so this handle is up and down, yeah, right? Simple process. If you want to turn it off, you go down that way. Whoop. Okay, if you want to turn it on, you bring it up. So it pulls that rod upwards, opens up the valve, and the water starts to make its way up. When you close the valve, and here's the key, when you close it down, it comes back down and it blocks the water from coming up the big pipe, right? Water comes up this big huge pipe here, into here, off into the hose. When you close this down, it brings that up, it brings the rod upwards, and then there's a little hole, a small hole, probably about, I think about 1/4 inch in diameter or so, and everything that sits, I gotta watch the water at the same time. See, the water's getting full. It's getting there. Okay, so I'm gonna switch out the water, put over to the other guy. Like that. Whoa. Hoses have a tendency to just fly around. There, something like that. Okay. So it's turning into a longer explanation than I'd like it to be. So down at the bottom of that pipe, there's a hole that sits just above where the valve is, so just up higher. So all the water that is in that pipe just drains out that hole so that it doesn't sit up in the pipe to freeze. No frost, faucet. So you're gonna want these kinds of things around so you can have them everywhere and you don't have to worry about them freezing because there's no water left in there. So the last point to make when you're installing them, you have to bury them in a whole bunch of drainage rock because everything that comes out of that pipe has to go somewhere. And so, and it has to go and leave and stay down really low. You want to be below the frost line. Our frost line is 12 inches, supposedly 8 to 12 inches. So anything 8 inches and up or 12 inches and up towards the ground can freeze. So we want all of our pipes and connections and everything to be below that point. And that's how a no frost faucet works. Hopefully that was interesting. Moving on with the day, right, Zeus? Any questions? Send them to Zeus. He'll answer them on the internet.